Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can. And I continue with Vampire the Masquerade Redemption, Blind. So, we're still in Vysehrad Castle, fighting the Tzimisce, and I have to say, after the slog of fighting the Tremere, after the absolute slog of facing the Tremere, the Tzimisce are almost pathetic. Although, maybe I shouldn't be jinxing it, but that's kind of how I feel about it. So, I'm not going to lie. And I guess that's mostly because of the lack of serious magic, because obviously with the Tremere, the biggest problem was the fact that they had really strong magic that caused me to frenzy. As it happens, I'm also frenzying now. Damn it. Hopefully I don't kill her. Okay, something weird is happening with my companions, because earlier it was Eric that was kind of bugged. He was standing in place, and now it's Wilhelm. He kind of refuses to move. He just stands in place, and I do not have him in the defensive stance, so I'm not sure what's the matter with that. Okay, this is blocked. Okay. Let's save. Because as I said, I might have jinxed it a little bit with saying how easy this is. Okay, Scroll of Awakening is definitely something I can use. But what is Wilhelm's deal? Like, I don't quite get it, and it kind of annoys me. Because it effectively makes me one party member short, because he isn't contributing to combat. Okay, so that's a Vozhd. That's like the ultimate war ghoul of the Tzimisce. One of the most dangerous constructs. Okay, he has wasted Wilhelm. Oh. And him as well. I think I have 2 scrolls of... I guess the question is, can I cast enough fireballs to actually kill him? Because I should have 2 scrolls of awakening, so maybe I can bring them back.
I am weak with lack of precious blood.
Okay, great. I guess that kinda worked out. So, there's some blood. Which is nice. Let me save. That wasn't so hard, actually. Vysehrad Castle 4. Okay.
Anezka! I sought thee for love.
So predictable, so pathetically predictable. Like all oafish mortal men, thou come a-trotting when a woman beckons. Oh, how thy sinful words offend mine ears. Did not thy carnal lust die with thy mortal flesh?
Love. Love that is pure. Love can release thee.
Fool! Only the bards and the diseased of mind pay heed to such rot.
Oh, fair Anezka, what have they done to thee?
All manner of delightful things. I am thoroughly defiled now, and it is all because of thee.
Forgive me, Anezka. I never meant harm to come to thee.
But thou harmed me all the same. I will enjoy the taste of thy Vozhd blood. It is so clean compared to the sweet corruption of Tzimisce blood. Bid the devil greetings from me, for I send thee to hell.
Anezka is mine now, whelp. Another of my servants that awaits me in my slumber. Even now she grows strong as my blood courses through her veins. As I rise to meet the night sky of the new millennium, the very antediluvians must shudder in fear.
Fool, release me!
I shall protect thee from these monsters.
I have a ceremony of resurrection to perform. Be gone!
Nay!
The wolves all about us! Release me!
Never! Anezka!
Good work, brother. I'll alert Father Alatius that it's around. Then we get over it.
Christoff, arise. Thou art in grave danger.
Where is she?
Who?
Trifle not with me, servant of the Tzimisce, for the hunger is so great in me. I would gladly squeeze all thy blood from thee, and still not be sated. Where is Anezka?
I don't know any Anezka.
Where is thy master? For if such a one as I survived, surely the ancient Vukadlok endures still.
I don't know anybody named Vukadlok.
Thou speaks the language of England, but in a manner most passing strange. Who is thy master mortal?
I'm with the Society of Leopold.
I know them not.
We slay vampires.
Back off, bloodsucker! I'm sending you to hell!
My name is Christoff Romuald. I was a man of God and a soldier in heaven's cause. I am now outcast of heaven, and not even a man. I am kindred. I am a vampire.
Okay, so I guess I was crushed by that pillar and sent into torpor for almost 900 years, because was it I think it's 1999 or something. Yeah, so there is that. As I said, I was kind of expecting that to happen because the cover, one of the wallpapers I found for this game, has kind of spoiled that for me, because it depicts a vampire holding a gun. So obviously modern times had to appear in some way in this game. So I'm not particularly like shocked by that. However, I am a little confused about Anezka's fate because like I'm not sure if I'm supposed to think that she was somehow mind controlled or somehow corrupted by the magic, you know, the vampiric power of Vukodlag, or which would be kind of like understandable as a plot point, or a plot point which would be much more problematic in my opinion is if the game is implying that because she was tortured and, as she herself said, defiled, then it somehow turned her evil, which would be very stupid and kind of annoying and kind of actually offensive in a way, because to be honest, I really dislike that trope where being hurt, like for example being tortured or something, makes you evil. Like that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and it's rather insensitive with regards to the story, to telling the story of a victim, because it's most often not the case in real life. I guess it sometimes is, whereas where if you're abused, for example, you might in turn abuse others later on, not necessarily because you're quote-unquote evil or something, but just because if that's something that if that is the only thing you have experienced in life, you know, if you have not experienced any kind of care or love, then you don't really have like a template for those behaviors. So if all you know is abuse and being hurt, then it isn't that weird that you might do that to other people. But I feel like that mostly works with characters who've been abused and hurt since they were children. I do not necessarily at all actually buy the idea of a grown person being tortured and that somehow making them evil. If anything, I guess it might make them traumatized for sure. It might make them, you know, shut in or develop mental issues, but not necessarily become abusive or violent themselves. I feel like that's a bit of a problematic trope, and I'm not really a fan of that because I don't find it viable most of the time. But I guess maybe I will learn more about her because obviously I imagine if I have survived until modern times, then probably so must she. It would be very weird for the game to just cut her out after she has been such an important part of the game. Okay, so what do I want? Celerity, blah blah blah, feral whispers, blood strength. Do I have potence maxed out? Yes. I guess I can max out fortitude as well. Or actually blood strength. Okay, and I can add a couple of points. No, actually not, because adding them in uneven numbers makes me annoyed. So I guess I will leave it for now. I guess my sword survived as well, which is great because it's a very good weapon. It's a pity though that they've removed my armor.
A metal sling that hurls deadly stones. 'Tis simple to use, yet murderous beyond measure. I see that man has not rested in his quest to create ever more powerful weapons.
Okay, I kind of call bullshit. Like, sure, he might kind of realize after witnessing how a gun works, he would realize that it's a weapon, and he would realize that it shoots projectiles, because after all, he was shot. But what I call bullshit on is him instinctively knowing how to use it. Like, to be honest, I would probably, as a modern human, I have never handled a gun, and I'm not entirely sure I will be, like, I guess I would figure it out eventually. It's not that complicated, but you know, there's the safety setting, you have to turn it off. I'm not sure if I would instinctively know how to reload it, for example. So I kind of call bullshit on Christoff instinctively knowing how to do that. Okay, there's a plasma bag. Alatius Journal entry.
From the Journal of Father Alatius, Society of Leopold. Joy! My research has paid off. The fools who laughed at me won't be laughing now. Won't the leaders of the Society of Leopold be chastened to learn that I have uncovered the location of Vysehrad Castle? Okay, I kind of press X to doubt on that. Like, I kind of call bullshit as well, because the castle of Vysehrad is not, like, it's not some ancient ruin. Everybody knows where it is, because, you know, it still exists. And it has always, like, it has never, like, been buried or something. It has always existed in Prague, and everybody knew where it is. Unless the game is trying to tell me that in this timeline it was literally destroyed, you know, maybe by Vukodlag, and it was, you know, reduced to such a state that it disappeared from the, basically, from the map of Prague for centuries ago, maybe, or something. But even then, I'm pretty sure they would have found it. Like, it's pretty difficult to lose a castle, even if it's a ruin. It would have, it was established before, you know, in the Middle Ages, so there would be records of that existing, and it would probably feature on maps, you know, at the time. So I kind of call bullshit on him saying that he rediscovered it or whatever. Okay, let's save first of all, because if I died it would be pretty annoying. And I'm not quite sure how effective firearms are going to be.
Where am I? What sorcerer's abode is this? Anezka.
Who's that?
A vampire! Kill him! Back off, bloodsucker! I'm sending you to hell! I can't wait to get a hold of some damn kids. They'll burn like tinder! Who's that? Who's that? I can't wait to get a hold of some damn kids. They'll burn like tinder!
To the abyss with thee!
I can't wait to get a hold of some damn kindred. They'll burn like tinder!
Okay. It's great that I still have the sword. It has very great utility. What with it draining their blood. Okay, they left no loot. Interesting that they have vampire scrolls. Contents: Society of Leopold, London. Okay. Okay, this is some kind of a surgery room, and there's a computer as well. Again, if the game is going to try to tell me that Christoff will instinctively know how to use a computer, then again I'm kind of calling bullshit on that. but let's try it.
Journal entry, August 1999. The Prague excavation is finally on schedule. The kindred resting places have finally yielded up their secrets. We've gotten the crates of Earth to London without troubling customs. Dr. Alatius is finally pleased with us, after giving us hell for 2 years.
Okay, I guess I can excuse that if that was just a text file already opened on the monitor or something.
Now burns me.
Okay. I've been studying some corpses, but I wonder if those are corpses of vampires? Or just... maybe... I don't know. Well, it's nice for them to keep all the blood neatly stored in here for my consumption. Although I'm not quite sure what's their excuse. Well, I guess they might use it for transfusions if their soldiers get regularly wounded or something. But that's a bit of a... you know, that's a bit of a convoluted explanation.
To the abyss with thee.
Okay. Gold necklace, you say? Why not?
Get back! Get back!
They are carrying stakes, but none of them have successfully staked me yet. Cash. Again, it's a little bit improbable that Christoff would recognize paper currency as money. Flashlight. So basically an analog for a torch, right? But there was something, I think, something that was listed as magical. Like it was blue. Sub gloves. It's a weapon, isn't it? Okay, so I don't want it, but I can keep it for selling. I guess I must have imagined that magical item was supposedly here.
Who's that? Straight to hell! Die, filthy beast! To the abyss with thee!
Okay, the flamethrower was actually less painful than I anticipated it being. Oh, I guess I can have one as well. That's potentially useful, I guess, against vampires, because obviously they are naturally weak to fire. Okay, let me save. I have not done that in quite a bit.
Who's that? Die, vampire! Die!
Okay, can't open that.
Who's that? The water of life now burns to the abyss with thee!
It seems at least some of them use magic or maybe true faith. There was like a freezing effect. Yeah, lab worker used discipline prayer. So I guess this is technically true faith. Which obviously makes sense because the Society of Leopold is basically like a modern Inquisition. They are made up of church members. Okay.
To the abyss with thee!
So, anything interesting in the warehouse here? Brass knuckles. More blood. And I think that's it. Oh, okay. That's the big door over here.
Who's that? The water of life now burns me. Who's that? I'm
Okay, come at me.
straight to hell. Who's that? They'll burn like tinder. Can't wait to get a hold of some damn kindred. They'll burn like tinder.
They are wearing a surprising amount of jewelry, although I guess they might be like, religious items. Those necklaces might be like, medallions of a religious nature. Although if they were, shouldn't it tell me? Because obviously Christoff, it would be reasonable for him to assume that he can no longer wear them himself. And in fact, there are...
lack of precious blood.
Okay, I think I'm dead, actually.
Filthy beast! You feel your unlife oozing away? To the abyss with thee!
There is a non-zero chance of me being dead. Even though in the lore of Vampire the Masquerade, technically speaking, holy objects do not work by themselves against vampires, because they only work in the hands of someone with enough conviction. But there is, in the tabletop you can choose to have a flaw where it works specifically against your character because your character believes that it would. It's like a, like a nocebo effect, basically an opposite effect to placebo, which is incidentally something that is also true in real life. It's how curses work, in some primitive societies where people can actually feel, ill, or they feel bad after being cursed by a shaman or something, because they've been raised in a culture in which they sincerely believe that a curse would affect them negatively, and so it does. There is a similar possibility in Vampire as well. Okay, but how do I... Ah, okay. I didn't notice those at first. Okay, let's continue onwards, but first let me save again. Okay, there's another computer.
Journal entry October 1999. We've been driven off the dig. Damn Tzimisce. We've lost half our forces. Back to England to regroup. Still, Dr. Alatius is oddly optimistic. He reckons that the ancient vampire we found will be the key to carrying on a holy crusade. I want to douse the undead wretch with petrol and strike a match to it. But the doctor knows best.
Okay, so maybe they actually wanted to enlist my help, because obviously I've been a crusader in life, and I fought against the Tzimisce specifically.
Who's that? I'm sending you straight to hell! Ah! It burns! Ah! Ah! Ah!
Okay. It seems to be another storage.
Look how all the world hath aged, and I have aged too. I feel old and drained, and weathered as all these relics.
Okay, I can't interact with those. I guess they are just here for Christoff to reminisce about. Okay, I'm pretty much out of inventory space. It's a shame that my plate armor did not survive. Although presumably it wouldn't offer that much protection against modern firearms, obviously, because to be fair, it didn't even back in the Middle Ages. Like in the end of the Middle Ages, that's basically why they sort of phased out, slowly phased out full plate in the Renaissance and later, because it was no longer effective against even the black powder firearms back then. So to be honest, it would probably do nothing against a modern firearm. It would actually probably just only encumber you. Hazardous material drum. I wonder if I attack it, will it kill me? Will it explode and kill me? I kind of think it will, but I'm going to check anyway. Yeah. So I guess this is intended for shooting it. Wait. Wait, I was pretty sure I must have saved. Damn it.
Journal entry October 9th.
They'll burn like tinder. I'm sending you to hell. Get back! Get back!
Okay, I'm back where I was. So let me at least save now. So I guess the barrels are intended for shooting them from a distance, not necessarily hitting them with a sword.
I can't wait to get a hold of some damn kindred. They'll burn like tinder.
Okay, so I think he had like a taser or something. Okay.
To the abyss with thee! The water of life now burns me! The water of life now burns me!
Okay, anything interesting in here? Holy statuette, okay. And some blood. But apart from that, seemingly nothing. Okay, so I guess he has successfully staked me. But to be honest, that should effectively, in the end, kill me. Because, you know, if he... Although it isn't displayed like that, but obviously if he has staked me like through the heart, it would paralyze me until the stake is removed. So essentially I should not survive that, because I should be immobilized indefinitely. But obviously that would be a little bit of a bullshit game mechanic, because it would be like an instant defeat. So I do realize why they couldn't do that like that. Well, they could, why they didn't, yes. More scrolls. I would like to keep the firearms for sale, but I guess because I'm not going to use them. Maybe if I get some companions, you know, from the modern era, they can use them. But for now, I'm kind of running out of space in my inventory.
They'll burn like tinder.
Okay. I have to pause for a second, so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, so let's continue.
Who's that?
To the abyss with thee!
Die, vampire! Die!
Okay, what kind of room is that? Oh, I guess some kind of a lab.
I can't wait to get a hold of some damn.
The water of life now burns me.
Who's that?
Okay, can't interact with that, can't interact with that. So overall this room feels a little bit pointless. Okay. I guess there was nothing here apart from some enemies.
Who's that? I'm sending you straight
To
to
the
hell.
abyss with me.
Okay, this is a shooting range.
To the abyss with me.
I'm not about to loot all of the pistols, because to be honest, I'm out of space in my inventory anyway.
Who's that?
To the abyss with me.
Stop, filthy beast! Stop, filthy beast!
The water of life now burns me. To the abyss with me.
Okay, another note of the doctor. So let's read that.
From the Journal of Father Leo Alatius, Society of Leopold. Today, plunged into Vysehrad Castle with 3 fire teams of expensive mercenaries, fully expecting to find a hive of Tzimisce cultists. Imagine our surprise when we found the ruins deserted and utterly intact. This despite the fact that several of Vukadlak's faithful followers survived the Night of Fire and seek to resurrect their lord. This is proof that God favors me above all others.
Okay, and there's another computer.
The Fall of Vysehrad Castle, from an unknown source, probably kindred. Tzimisce conspire against not just the other clans, but against the antediluvians and Cain himself, and against God. In an ultimate battle they dare to hope to win. In their monstrous hubris, they see themselves as the true masters of all kindred, and of all ancient power. In the last days after the deluge, the ancient Tzimisce Vukadlak gathered demonic power by defiling all that was good and pure. He posed a threat to the ancient order of Cainites and was cast into deep torpor. But his loyal Tzimisce followers conserved his power for centuries and sought to resurrect their dread lord.
Okay. And I presume they are still trying. Even to this day. Okay, there's a lot of blood. I think I'm going to take it in lieu of the weapons. Because obviously the weapons are probably easy enough to find in the modern era. Whereas blood, I presume it's, actual bagged blood is not going to be so ubiquitous. Although maybe it will. It's a game. From a gameplay perspective, obviously it would make sense for it to drop regularly because it's basically like a health potion. But from an in-universe perspective, it doesn't make a lot of sense for it to like drop casually, like on the streets or something. Like a random thug would not be carrying bags of blood.
To the abyss with thee.
Bloodsucker! I'm sending you to hell!
Okay.
To the abyss with thee!
Okay, it's good that none of them staked me, because if one of them did, I'm pretty sure the other one, with the shotgun, could have easily killed me. Okay, nothing interesting here.
Who's that? I can't wait to burn like tinder!
To the abyss with thee!
This is a library of sorts.
The Fall of Vysehrad Castle. Further additions to the original by Father Leo Alatius. Vysehrad Castle was once the heart of a pitched battle between humans and kindred scum. It marks the first time in recorded history that humans have successfully overthrown the bloodsuckers. They were burned, pulled from their havens, and left to bake in the sun. They call it the night the very demons shook the walls of the city, spewing flame and death. Those brave humans are our spiritual forefathers, because they started the Inquisition and burned countless vampires. Of course, there was a lot of collateral damage, but that's unavoidable. Though we call ourselves the Society of Leopold, I prefer the name Inquisition. It strikes fear. What followed was centuries of hiding, which the vampires call the Masquerade. They went underground and tried to build a coalition. Fortunately, they split on policy. Two sects arose, the Camarilla and the Sabbat. The Sabbat sought to regain their domination over the Kine, and spurned the masquerade adopted by the Camarilla. I trace this fracture in the vampire world to this event. Therefore, I must uncover the legendary Vysehrad Castle. Who knows what wonders it holds?
Okay, I'm not sure what to think about it, because I'm pretty sure the split between Camarilla and Sabbat
I'm sending you straight to hell!
predates the year 1141, so this recording is trying to tell me that basically it was during Lure of Flames. I don't want to use it on Christoff. Maybe I will find some mage later on, but it basically tries to tell me that the split was specifically started during, like, the events leading up to the battle of the Vysehrad Castle. It was that split the Sabbat from the Camarilla, but I kind of don't understand that. It was pretty evident to me that the Tzimisce were already a separate power from the Camarilla. They didn't recognize the prince or anything. So I'm pretty sure the split must have been earlier. Obviously, the humans from the Society of Leopold might have data that is literally untrue. I'm not saying that's not possible. In fact, you know, that is kind of stupid to assume that everything you read inside a story is true just by the virtue of fact that it exists as a piece of information.
The
Fall of Vysehrad Castle. Additions to the original by Brother Maynard of the Arcanum. In the 12th century, Vukudlok's cultists nearly succeeded in raising him from torpor. But the Bruja Prometheans, led by Ekaterina the Wise, crushed his plan and razed Vysehrad Castle to rubble. Ekaterina conspired with the mortals of Prague, who had suffered the depredations of Vukudlok's followers. The mortals aided the Prometheans in the short term, but in the long run the kindred suffered. Ekaterina's act built up mortal opposition to vampires, which would soon culminate in the Inquisition.
Okay, they have a surprising amount of information on those events.
They'll burn like tinder.
It burns!
Die, vampire!
To the abyss
Die!
Okay.
burns me!
Bloodsucker! I'm sending you to hell!
Okay, that's just like a sleeping, like a bedroom basically with a bunk bed. And so is this. Well, I guess that's probably where the regular members sleep. Okay, I guess I will drop the gloves. They do take a lot of space. Okay, what was inside? I don't see because of the corpse. Okay, I think it must have been a bag of blood, because it occupied one of the spaces here, left by the gloves, because I cannot pick up anything else, seemingly. I do have more notes, however.
From the Journal of Father Leo Alatius, Society of Leopold, September 1999. Today we begin our excavation of Vysehrad Castle in earnest. We had better find a lot of valuable artifacts and lore. This is costing me a fortune. Some large carved stones are proving very difficult to break through.
Okay. I should probably save. I haven't saved in quite a while, and there's a large group of enemies ahead of me. It would be kind of embarrassing if I died.
Straight to hell! Die, filthy creep!
Okay. That wasn't too bad. Okay, Society of Leopold 1, you say?
I'm sending you straight to hell!
Deus Vult.
Oozing away!
So I guess that the motto of the Society of Leopold is Deus Vult, which means God wills it, which is obviously a very famous Crusader battle cry, which I think gained a lot of prominence, on the internet because of Crusader Kings, I believe. But I guess you can't limit that. It was a thing literally in history, so you can't limit its popularity to just Crusader Kings. It's just something that I think I specifically, seen linked with this game specifically. But obviously, it, as I said, is a historical war cry, battle cry, and obviously as well, it presumably appears in dozens of games if they tell the story of the Crusades. I just thought of Crusader Kings in particular because I've seen it linked with that a lot. Okay, this is locked.
Who's that? Get back! Back!
Okay, that's actually kind of hilarious because I'm pretty sure one of those guys shot the other.
You to the abyss with me.
Oozing away! Straight to hell! Filthy beast!
Okay. Okay, nothing on the bookshelves.
To the abyss with me.
Die, filthy beast!
Okay, what can I drop? I guess I can drop the pipe. It's probably not going to be of much use. Another entry from the doctor. Can't do anything with that. Can't do anything with the books either. Okay, let's read that report.
From the Journal of Father Leo Alatius, Society of Leopold, October 1999. Damn! The Tzimisce drove us off my excavation! Killed half my men! We barely got away with the artifacts we uncovered. I cannot believe the Lord allowed this travesty! Friar Ignatius insists that the large carved stones over the ruins were protective blessings placed after the fall of Vysehrad Castle by persons unknown. He maintains that the Tzimisce could freely pillage the ruins once we broke through the wards. I dislike his holier-than-thou attitude and don't miss him very much, though he was useful in finding the site of the ruins.
Okay, so that's an interesting point, because I guess there's a possibility that the the members of the Society of Leopold sort of caused, they enabled the return of Vukarlak because in plundering the ruins of the castle, they broke some protective stones.
To the abyss with thee!
Which is obviously kind of hilarious, because they see themselves as mortal enemies of the vampires, and yet there is a possibility that they actually aided them in a significant way. Are you though? Okay, this is locked. Oh. Well, no longer locked. Baton. But this seems to be magical. So, because it's blue. It takes a lot of space, but they kept it in a in a locked case. So I presume it has to be important somehow. Like one of their artifacts or something. So I will try identifying that later. They have some masks as well, but I can do nothing with those. Okay, there's yet another journal entry by Alatius. I guess I'm going to drop the flashlight as well. Probably not going to use, although I guess it may have some tangential use. Let's read that.
From the Journal of Father Leo Alatius, Society of Leopold. God has blessed me with my greatest prize, an ancient vampire still sleeping in deep torpor. He's a blaspheming heretic who wears the red cross of a crusader to mock all that is holy. I'll enjoy tormenting such an evil creature. I've shipped him to my estate, where I'll bind him and fatten him on fresh plasma. Then, engorged on his blood, I will hunt down the Tzimisce, who dared to steal artifacts that were rightfully mine. I know little about them, except that they have excavated a tremendous amount of earth from the site and shipped it to London, and from there, I think, to New York, the diabolical home of the Sabbat. They must be setting up a large operation to need so much earth from their homeland.
Okay, so that's very interesting. So it seems the leader of the Society of Leopold is drinking vampire blood, which would obviously, technically speaking, make him a ghoul. So again, it's a really bad idea, because to be honest, if he drank too much from a single vampire, he would become bloodbound. He would literally become that vampire's ghoul. So I guess he must do it from different ones. And I guess he does it because it gives him literal superhuman powers, because a ghoul can use vampiric disciplines on a very basic level, and obviously he also heals a lot quicker and can live for hundreds of years. Theoretically, he could live indefinitely, forever, provided he keeps drinking the blood. Okay, but this episode has been long enough. So I'm going to save and end it for now. That's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.